The atmosphere around Raiders training camp has been intense, but nothing has stirred more attention than the ongoing Christian Wilkins controversy. What started as whispers around the locker room quickly escalated into a full-blown situation that now has NFL insiders, fans, and even former players weighing in. It all began when ESPN's Adam Schefter made an appearance on the Pat McAfee show and shared a curious account of an incident involving Wilkins and a teammate. According to Schefter, the defensive lineman playfully kissed a teammate on the top of the head. That in itself might seem harmless to some, but the reaction in the locker room reportedly wasn't as lighthearted. The teammate involved didn't take it well, feeling offended by the gesture. And from there, the story took on a life of its own. Now here's where things start to get complicated. Schefter's account, as strange as it may sound, has been met with skepticism from others close to the organization. Multiple sources, including those with access to current and former players, are suggesting that what Schefter reported might not be the full story. Some have even gone as far as saying that it's a smokescreen, a public relations move, potentially orchestrated by Wilkins' camp to downplay the true nature of the incident and avoid larger fallout. It's a bold accusation, but in the world of professional sports, especially with a franchise as media-heavy as the Raiders, it wouldn't be the first time damage control tactics were deployed. As soon as this story broke, whispers around the NFL started picking up speed. Former players like Jonathan Feliciano dropped cryptic comments on social media implying that Wilkins has always been a little freaky, adding fuel to the idea that this wasn't an on-off moment. According to sources close to the Raiders locker room, Wilkins had started to lose support from some teammates even before this incident occurred. Whether it was due to repeated behavior or simply personality clashes, there were signs that the locker room was growing uneasy with his presence. That's a major shift for a player who up until now had a solid reputation and was largely seen as a positive influence on the field. What makes the situation even more serious is that it reportedly led to an official complaint being filed with the team's human resources department. That's not typical NFL locker room drama. That's a formal action suggesting that someone inside the organization felt the need to escalate the matter beyond the coaches or player leadership. An HR investigation was launched, and while the results haven't been made public, the ripple effects are being felt all over the building. ESPN reported that legal ramifications may also be part of the conversation, and there's even been talk of a potential lawsuit related to the incident. If true, that takes this well beyond simple team discipline. It becomes a legal issue with real consequences. Despite all of this, the Raiders haven't released a detailed official statement, but the fact that Wilkins is no longer with the team speaks volumes. The phrase "final straw" was used during Schefter's appearance on McAfee's show, and that's been sticking with fans and reporters alike. You don't call something the final straw unless there were previous issues, and that's what many insiders are pointing to now, that this incident might have been the latest in a string of behavioral red flags from Wilkins. There's no confirmed list of prior incidents, but the context suggests that leadership inside the Raiders organization decided that whatever happened in that locker room, paired with the history behind it, was enough to part ways with a player many once believed would be a long-term fixture in the defense. Another twist in this ongoing saga comes from Pro Football Talk, who flat out said the story Schefter told is not the one making rounds among NFL insiders. That raises even more questions about what's being withheld and what's being carefully worded to control the narrative. It's not clear whether Pro Football Talk's sources are coming from inside the Raiders building, from Wilkins' agent, or from league executives, but one thing is clear: there's more to this story than anyone's letting on. Theories are swirling about whether Wilkins' team might be feeding select details to trusted media figures in hopes of shaping public perception before the real facts surface. This kind of tactic isn't unheard of in the NFL, especially when contracts, reputations, and potential lawsuits are in play. It's also worth noting that while Wilkins has been painted as a locker room favorite in the past, the recent shift in sentiment cannot be ignored. A source close to the Raiders suggested that Wilkins' behavior had become more erratic, or at the very least less in sync with team culture. That source hinted that teammates started distancing themselves well before this incident made the headlines. If that's the case, this entire episode might be the culmination of a slow breakdown in trust and chemistry, something no locker room can afford during the build-up to a new season. And when you throw in the HR report, the legal murmurs, and the sheer confusion around the truth, the situation starts to feel like a ticking time bomb, just waiting to explode in the public eye. Now, for fans trying to make sense of all this, It's easy to get lost in the back and forth of Hesade they said. Some are defending Wilkins, saying the locker room has always been a place for strange hypermasculine behavior that doesn't always make sense to outsiders. Others feel the line was crossed whether the act was playful or not. And then there are those who think none of this adds up, that there's a deeper story lurking just beneath the surface. That's where the phrase "where there's smoke, there's fire" comes back into play. When you have insiders contradicting each other, former teammates throwing out suggestive remarks, and an investigation that's already gone through HR channels, it's hard to believe this is just about a kiss on the forehead. At the center of it all is Christian Wilkins, a player known for his energy, his talent, and his quirky personality. But in a high-stakes locker room like Las Vegas, being quirky only works if it fits within the framework of team culture. If that energy becomes disruptive or starts to fracture relationships, even the most talented players can find themselves on the outside looking in. That appears to be the reality facing Wilkins right now, and unless the Raiders or Wilkins himself go on record with more details, this situation is going to remain in the room or fueled shadows for the foreseeable future. And while the controversy continues to swirl, the Raiders still have a training camp to run. The pads are finally on and football is being played. Yet even in the middle of drills, position battles, and game planning, the Wilkins story lingers like a cloud overhead. It's affecting players, coaches, fans, and even media coverage. Every practice rep, every press conference, and every roster move now comes with the unspoken context of the Wilkins exit. It's impossible to ignore, especially when so much uncertainty still surrounds what actually went down. And it's fair to wonder how long that shadow will hang over the team as they push forward into the season. The organization has already shown it's willing to make tough decisions, and this one may be among the toughest yet. Letting go of a player like Wilkins isn't just a personnel move. It's a statement about the standards they expect inside the building. Whether it was a matter of personal boundaries, team cohesion, or something else entirely, the Raiders clearly felt it was time to move on. But as more details leak out and more voices weigh in, it's going to be a challenge to keep this from becoming an even bigger distraction. Until then, the only certainty is that the full story hasn't been told, and Raider Nation will be watching every development with intense interest. While the Christian Wilkins story continues to generate headlines and speculation, the rest of the Raiders are pressing forward, locking in for what looks like one of the most competitive training camps in recent years. Day 5 brought the first padded practice, and with it came a wave of energy, intensity, and a clear message from the coaching staff. It's time to separate the playmakers from the placeholders. For anyone wondering how this team is responding in the wake of the Wilkins drama, the answer is simple: their focus fired up and fully engaged in proving they're ready for the season ahead. One of the most talked about developments coming out of the offensive unit is the return of JPJ as the starting center. After spending the previous 2 days working with the backups, there was some legitimate concern among fans and insiders that he might be falling out of favor. But the moment the pads went on there, he was anchoring the line with the first team and reminding everyone why he's considered one of the top 5 linemen on this roster. It was a sigh of relief for those who understand how crucial interior line stability is for a quarterback like Geno Smith, and for an offense that plans to be fast, aggressive, and physical under Chip Kelly. Speaking of Geno, the veteran quarterback looked sharp, decisive, and, most importantly, confident. He was slinging the football all over the field, spreading it around to an impressive group of young weapons. Trey Tucker in particular put on a show. Easily the most dynamic receiver on the field during today's practice, Tucker consistently separated from coverage, made difficult catches look easy, and showed that rare ability to turn routine plays into chunk gains. He outperformed veterans like Jacoby Myers and even the highly anticipated rookie Brock Bowers. That's not to take anything away from Bowers, who still saw a high volume of targets, but today was about Tucker showing that he's ready to be more than just a rotational piece. He looked like a go-to guy. One of the day's biggest moments came courtesy of rookie wideout Dante Thornton Jr., who blew the top off the defense with a long touchdown grab. Reports range from 65 to 70 yards, but the point remains the same: he showcased elite speed and chemistry with Geno on a perfectly timed deep ball. It's exactly the kind of play that the Raiders envisioned when they brought him in, someone who could stretch the field vertically and keep defenses honest. His speed is electric, and his ability to finish plays down the field makes him an instant threat, even as a rookie. As for the running back group, Ashton Gentry continues to turn heads. With the pads finally on, the staff got their first real look at what he can do between the tackles, and he did not disappoint. One source said Gentry's performance today would make several teams regret passing on him during the draft. His balance, acceleration, and newfound confidence catching the football give him the look of a future bell cow back. He's not just a change-of-pace runner anymore. He's starting to look like someone who could carry the load if asked to. The chemistry between Aidan O'Connell and wideout Jack Beck also deserves some love. These two have been quietly developing a rhythm on the second team, and it's becoming more noticeable with each passing day. Beck has been winning consistently against the twos, and O'Connell is finding him with confidence and precision. While Geno is clearly the starter, O'Connell's steady development is a great sign for the depth chart, and Beck's rising stock might force the staff to make some tough decisions. When it comes to final roster cuts, another name that emerged today was Caleb Rogers, the offensive lineman who many were skeptical about heading into camp. After a little scuffle with Adam Butler during the previous session, Rogers bounced back with what some called his best day yet. He held his own in pass protection, moved well in space, and brought the kind of physical edge that this offensive line needs, whether he's responding to criticism or simply finding his rhythm. It's a step in the right direction for a player whose role is far from guaranteed. As things moved to the defensive side, the energy only picked up. Tyree Wilson was a force. Playing inside at the 3 tech, he looked fast, powerful, and decisive. The early reports from camp on Wilson have been mostly positive, but today felt like a breakthrough. He was disruptive against both the run and the pass, and it finally feels like he's starting to unlock the physical tools that made him such a highly regarded prospect. This couldn't come at a better time, especially with the uncertainty surrounding the Wilkins departure. Another standout was linebacker Tommy Eichenberg. He worked with both the first and second teams, and while it's still unclear what his exact role will be once the regular season begins, his presence in those top reps says a lot about how the coaching staff views him. With other linebackers like Jamal Adams, Devin White, and Jermaine Pratt all in the mix, it's a crowded room. But Eichenberg is proving that he belongs, and for a rookie, that's all you can ask for. One of the more exciting developments on defense has been the rise of second-year cornerback Damian Richardson. Back-to-back strong practices have caught the attention of everyone in attendance. He capped off the day with an impressive interception against Geno in red zone drills. And while some might dismiss it as just one play, it was the type of play that shows instinct, anticipation, and ball skills, all things this cornerback room has been missing. With veterans like Darian Porter and Eric Stokes also taking turns with the ones, the cornerback competition is wide open. But Richardson is making a real case to be taken seriously as a starting caliber option. That depth and internal competition are exactly what Pete Carroll wants. He thrives in environments where every rep matters, where nothing is guaranteed, and where iron sharpens iron. The Raiders' secondary may not be full of household names, but it's quickly becoming one of the more intriguing groups to watch in camp. If Richardson continues this level of play and players like Porter and Stokes maintain their consistency, this could end up being one of the most athletic and aggressive corner units in the division. Of course, no discussion of the Raiders' defense is complete without talking about Max Crosby. He was all over the place today. Had this been a live session, there's no question he would have racked up multiple sacks. His motor is relentless, and with the pads finally on, he took full advantage to showcase his dominance. There's a reason he's seen as the heart and soul of this defense. And even with Brock Bowers emerging as a star on offense, Max continues to set the tone on the other side of the ball. Jermaine Pratt also deserves some shine for his work in coverage. The linebackers as a group were active, physical, and brought exactly what you expect from a Pete Carroll defense. Thump. That word kept coming up from people inside the building. Thump. These guys were flying around, hitting and letting it be known that nothing would come easy for the offense. Between Devin White, Jamal Adams, and Landon Roberts, this linebacker room might be one of the most physical in the league. They're not just trying to cover, they're trying to hit. And that sends a message. The battle at corner continues to evolve, with Darnay Holmes still quiet at the nickel position and more of the outside guys getting reps in multiple looks. It seems like the coaching staff wants to give everyone a chance to prove they can play inside and outside, keeping the coverage scheme flexible and interchangeable. That's crucial in Patrick Graham's system, which values versatility and matchup flexibility more than traditional role assignments. At the end of the day, what's clear is that this Raiders team isn't waiting around to see how things unfold. They're actively creating their identity, building chemistry, and moving forward even in the midst of one of the strangest off-field stories in recent memory. Training camp is never just about the plays on the field, it's about setting the tone for the entire season. And so far the tone is loud and clear, next man up, full speed ahead and no distractions. The fallout from Christian Wilkins might still be developing, but the guys in camp, they're dialed in. They're playing fast, playing tough, and embracing the competition. With the Hall of Fame game just around the corner and the regular season looming, every snap counts, every mistake is magnified, and every rep is a chance to earn your spot. And that's exactly the kind of environment that breeds winners. Before we continue, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and give this video a like. Your support helps us keep bringing you the latest updates on our Las Vegas Raiders. And don't be shy, drop your thoughts on the news in the comments below. The NFL rumor mill rarely sleeps, and this offseason is no exception. The latest whispers echoing through league circles suggest a potentially seismic shift in the AFC West. Derrick Henry might be eyeing Las Vegas. While nothing is confirmed, insiders close to the situation have hinted at conversations that could see the bruising All-Pro running back don the silver and black pairing up with the recently revitalized Raiders offense. If the move materializes, the implications are enormous. Henry, known for his punishing north-south running style and unmatched durability, would immediately elevate the Raiders' ground game. Las Vegas has quietly assembled a roster with playoff potential, and the addition of a player like Henry could be the piece that transforms them into legitimate contenders. Sources close to the organization have suggested that talks, though still unofficial, are heating up with mutual interest on both sides. Imagine a backfield that combines Henry's raw power with the Raiders' current defensive scheme. The thought alone has defensive coordinators across the league sweating. Opponents would have to game plan against a relentless downhill runner who can wear down even the most disciplined defenses. With the spotlight of Las Vegas, a city built for big moments, Henry would have the stage to add a dramatic new chapter to his already legendary career. It's worth noting that these rumors come amid a shifting running back market, where elite veterans are more strategic than ever about where and how they spend the twilight of their prime years. The Raiders, eager to win now, might be the perfect destination. The potential pairing is as much about identity as it is production. The franchise has long prided itself on toughness and mystique, qualities that Henry embodies. While nothing is official yet, the buzz is real. If Derrick Henry lands in Las Vegas, it won't just shake up the division. It could redefine the power balance in the entire AFC. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to stay updated with exclusive news about our Las Vegas Raiders, be sure to subscribe to our channel and hit that like button. We can't wait to hear your thoughts in the comments. See you in the next video.